Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to My Golf DNA, where we help you get better at the game of golf. Today we are inside the lab because we have some Tour Pro analysis to do here today. We have two players that have collectively, in the last 10 events that they've participated in, have won 9 of them. That is outrageous. 5 straight victories for Nelly Korda, 4 out of 5 for Scottie Scheffler, and the one that he didn't win, he finished tied for second. I think it's probably pretty safe to say that both of these players have the world of consistency pretty well cornered at this point. And today what we're going to do is we're going to focus on their driver swings. We're going to show you the stark contrast between these two golf swings. We're going to focus in on 3 key areas that allow them to be consistent drivers of the golf ball week in and week out. And these are 3 key areas that a lot of you should be working on in your own golf swings. And then later on in the week, what we're going to do is we're going to head out to the range. I'm going to show you a great way for you to be able to sync up the hips and the hands and the arms through into an extended position that's going to allow you to have stability in the club face. And this is going to tie hands with the last 3 videos that we've released, where we've worked on the timing of the release, we've worked on when you should be throwing the golf club, and then we certainly worked on creating some good body movement. Now we're going to give you that final piece that's going to help you understand how to use the wrists from a really good, solid delivery position into an exploded impact position that you're going to be able to transfer a whole lot of speed. So hopefully you guys are ready to take that ride. Let's step in here and let's take a look at these golf swings now. So there are 3 key pieces that we're going to be focusing in on today that a lot of you at home need to start making sure that you have in place if you want to become a better driver of the golf ball. And not just a better driver of the golf ball, but just a better swinger of the golf club. And these 2 are perfect examples of how we can swing the golf club very differently and produce very good results across the board. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to focus on Nelly from a down the line perspective first. And I want to look at her takeaways specifically. And so this is the first piece of the puzzle that I want to talk about here today, is getting the golf swing started on the right tone. What we're looking to do early on in the swing shape is we're looking to get the body to move in the correct order, working on a little weight shift and getting the hips to start to rotate, getting the body turn to be the primary mover of the hands and the arms, and getting the golf club in a set position to where it's not way in behind the hands, it's not shut, it's not fanned wide open. And she does that really well. You can actually see she uses a little bit of a toed down position here, but both of her arms are fairly straight and fairly relaxed. That's a very good, solid takeaway position that you'll see most playing professionals work into. Now, how do we get here? Work on shifting your weight and turning your body and just supporting the club with a little small wrist input like wrist set. Now, as she continues on up to the top of the golf swing, you're going to see that she gets her wrists into a fully set position. So she creates a lot of angle at the top of the golf swing. But one of the most important pieces of her golf swing that you're going to see that's very much in line with what Scottie does is as we start to shift over to our lead side, you can see the arms start to work down independently from the shoulder line. So those hands and arms are working down, hips are opening up a substantial amount, and here's that big important position that you hear golf instructors talk about so much, where we have the club shaft going through the forearm. Left hip opened up, you can see the shoulders are quite closed here, we can see the buttons on her shirt. This is a position that's ready for her to start to explode and release the golf club. Now, what you're going to see with Scottie is something that's very different through and through. Now, let's go ahead and focus in on his takeaway. So here we are into his takeaway position. You see a little bit of a bend in the right arm, but not a huge amount. He's still moving in the correct sequence. We're looking for the load pressure into the trail side. Are the hips rotating? Is the body being the primary engine to the hands and the arms? And you can see that he's got the golf club right in line with his hands. So there is a very similar sort of appearance to both of these, but done in maybe a little bit of a different way. But this is where you're going to see things get very different. Scottie uses a very high hand and arm position without having a lot of dramatic wrist set at the top of the golf swing like you would see of Nelly. And same movement in transition, you're going to see that he starts to move onto his lead side and his hands and his arms drop down off of the shoulder line, and here's that same slotted position that we talked about on the left-hand side of the screen. So we can see that he's got his chest pointed back to the camera. Look how much his hips have opened up. Club shaft sitting right through the forearm. But look at the lead wrist position. You can see that there is a very big difference here. Nelly, you can see a lot of her glove logo where Scottie's got his glove logo pointed out in front of him. What is the difference between these 2 positions? Is it to do with their grip? Or is it to do with how much angle they're taking down in front of their body? Well, it's a little bit of both. What you're going to find when we look at this from a face-on perspective is that you're going to see that Nelly takes in a substantial amount of angle down in front of her body. So when you look at it from the top of the swing down, so here she is, lead arm parallel to the ground. Let's mark this angle. Now she gets up to the top. She's increased the wrist set a substantial amount. Now here she is again, lead arm parallel to the ground. And notice how much this angle has increased. Pretty crazy, right? Now as she starts to work down into that slotted position, okay, you can see that she's got tons and tons of lag, which is a very important piece of our club head speed. It's the last part of our system that needs to move and fire the golf club. Now, how much lag you take down in the hitting area is very player dependent. It's considered a variable, but we do want to have lag. Why? Well, because it's our main source of leverage that we can use in the golf swing. But lag is only as good as if you know how to get rid of it. If you have tons and tons of lag and you're struggling with a lot of these dramatic hand and arm inputs that cause the club face to become really unstable, then what you're going to have is a whole lot of speed that you're not going to have any control of. And so what you're going to see here with Nelly is that she has a very good solid braking mechanism built into her golf swing, where she really drives up out of the ground with her lead hip, gets very quiet with the lower half, and you can see her hands and her arms extending out in front of her body. You can see the club shaft forming a straight line right through her V. This is a very, very good, stable position for the club head. We know that she's moved in the correct timing. She's transferred all of the speed down here where it matters the most. Now, what you'll see with Scottie is something that's very different from the top half down. He stays in that very wide position, and as he starts to make his movement over his lead side, yes, he's increased his angle. This is what we call downcock in the world of golf instruction. So as we get our hands and arms working down in front of our body, you can see that he's got a whole lot less angle that he has to manage. And as he starts to release the golf club, now you can see a pretty good size difference with the release pattern. Look at their wrists. You can see that Scottie's got his right wrist quite a bit underneath the left, where she's got hers rotated more on top of it. Now, why does Scottie have less wrist and forearm rotation? Well, because if he rotated his wrists and forearms much like Nelly has over here on the left-hand side of the screen, then he would hit the golf ball left of the world. He's openly said that he has built a golf swing that he does not want to see the golf ball go left. He's got a lot of anti-left mechanisms built in there. And so what we're going to be working on is getting you to feel the narrowness of the wrists and the golf club on the way down, and getting you to feel the extension and what your wrists and your arms should be feeling post-impact. And this follows up on the heels of the body video that we just released last week, and then the throw zone video. This is going to tie hands with it nicely, and it's going to help you kind of feel what it's like to be able to produce the speed that you're looking for, but also have the control aspect built in there and allow the wrist to become that last source for us to be able to focus on, so that you have good command of the club face day in and day out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and make sure you do me a big favor. Hit that like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post that up below. Now make it a great day.